guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name's TJ. I'm here with Dan and Colin. Hey guys, here we are again doing this for whatever reason. I'd given up hope to have any fun through the next hour. How about you? What's going on?
I just like talking to my pals, and that's a reason to do it here.
Yeah, I was hoping for some yard tips. Just picking Colin's brain on what to do in wintertime yard work. Apparently not much.
You guys picking up those lime pellets for the spring, or?
Oh yeah. Thank you, El Jefe.
I liked how you really
the best
really thought it was lime, like the fruit, the citrus.
Yeah,
that was the best part. I like that very much.
There's an art to interviewing Colin, and one day you'll learn, how to give and take, how to juice things, how to lighten the mood.
I mean, I
didn't know that was your expertise. I thought getting interviewed was your expertise. Like when you were on ESPN's Man in the Arena podcast.
That's right.
Featuring Kevin Gilbride.
Yes.
Who I wish was offensive coordinator right now.
Oh, who'd have thought
this is.
Who'd have thought that would be the case? Did I tell you guys that I met his nephew a bunch of years ago?
Is he also a coach in the NFL?
No,
I think you did tell me that though.
Yeah, he was. It was at. Nah, it's not even worth going into. It's not even that good of a story.
Probably not.
Yeah.
End it.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't have any kind words. I tried to make it a joke, but it was at the time where we were very angry at his uncle, so I didn't really want to go too far into it.
That's a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where he was a good offensive coordinator for us. He did it. You don't remember it, but he did it.
They did win a Super Bowl, so I mean,
almost despite
that.
Despite his play calling. But anyway.
Whatever. As usual, guys, follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Pod Net on Twitter. Download that DraftKings app. Anything else I need to say? I don't think so. So that'll be it for us tonight.
We didn't watch any football on Sunday. I don't think you can call it football.
No.
What we saw.
No, we watched an empty program that was about 4.5 hours too long.
Yeah. I mean, I texted you guys after that game. It was followed by the Arizona Cowboys game, and it looked like two different sports almost.
Yeah,
It was just real stark contrast. Really tough pill to swallow there.
Hey, how about them boys taking an L, though? I'll take it.
I like that meme where it was like Dak Prescott is already practicing his disappointed playoff face.
Perfect.
Just good if you saw that one.
I'm telling you right now, they're going to choke. And it's Mike McCarthy's fault because he's horrible.
I mean, they're not a well-coached team. They have a good roster.
We're talking about well-coached teams.
Yeah.
Hey, we know what the opposite of a well-coached team is. So we are experts.
Exactly. I actually had a good time watching football on Sunday because I'm in my fantasy football finals. I know we're not talking about fantasy football on this podcast, but I'm excited. If Najee Harris has a bad game tonight, I win. Knock on wood. Jamar Chase, I just wanted to say I love you. Thanks for being there for me yesterday after I had a less than 30% chance to win, and now I have a 95% chance to win. Amazing.
That was special.
Well, I'm just happy that it might be someone other than what's-his-name winning our league for once.
Oh, that other Ryan guy.
Yeah.
There's like 6 guys named Ryan in our league for some reason.
And they always win every year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm playing one of them. Whatever. Yeah. He does have a great name, which should I share it or not?
Is it family friendly?
Well, it's I'm just gonna say it. It's Biden's pullout game.
It's a little dated.
Referencing Afghanistan, which I mean, it's a good name. I'm not going to take anything away from that.
Pretty stupid.
Yeah, the whole. I'm pretty sure like 11 out of 12 names in our fantasy league are genital related.
as most team names are.
Yeah, as it should be. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from this conversation, I think. So I guess the number one thing to talk about is just Joe Judge and the press conference where...
Do you want to talk about all the good stuff we saw on the field on Sunday?
Yeah, sure.
Wait.
Let's move on to Joe Judge's press conference.
But wait, should we look internally at all the good stuff? Or
yeah, you can't. All the stuff you can't see, we should talk about.
I was going to bring this up later, but I loved that Will at 27, he was great on Giants Twitter, tweeted out Judge's first press conference in the year saying that winning culture is the only culture that matters. And then now Judge is saying that locker room culture is the things we can't see are the things that matter. But I mean, what I want to ask you guys, let me just summarize basically like the most insane things that he was saying, that Giants players are coming into his office and begging to come back next year before the season's over. And he has guys calling him that used to be on the team because they want to be back on the team twice a week, not just once a week, twice a week, saying that he's changed the culture in the locker room, the things we can't see, as we just said. There, we referenced, I think it was Golden Tate was the guy who had golf clubs in front of his locker, and that when he came here when Schumer was coach, it was a mess, and he's fixing it and changing it. I guess my question is, what is this madness that we're experiencing from this man, and why is he going out of his way to kind of do this and make himself look quite odd at this point? What do you think about that, Colin?
Well, I felt like many people, including myself, after watching it, and I've not watched a lot of his pressers because it's been so depressing and he says the same things over and over again, but I needed to see this one, and everybody that I follow on Twitter had more or less the same reaction, and that was that he was not talking to the reporters or the fans. He was talking to the team and Mara himself, kind of stating his case, which I know it's a platform you can use to say these things, but how on God's green earth can anyone believe anything coming out of his moron mouth? It's all good, all the things you can't see. So what do you have to do? Do you have to give this guy a 10-year contract and just say, oh, you'll get it eventually? No.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, because the only way anything he's saying could rationally be conceived is if he's trying to save his job and speaking directly to John Mara, who I could believe thinks that was a good press conference and those are good points to be made. Because there's nothing about actual football that he could point to save his ass. It's just another press conference that is sort of, he prides himself on answering questions directly, but he doesn't give real answers. Like, he might be answering it, but his answers are wrong.
Yeah.
It's patronizing at a certain point from a Patriot, man. And the stories themselves were crazy. Like that whole thing about how when he was on the Patriots team in 2018, there's a point in the season when they all thought they were getting fired.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. And who was going to get fired? Maybe it was him. Maybe he was going to be the first one to go. Yeah. Maybe Bill was like, Joe, you're out of here. Your special teams are awful.
He said he meant I.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't doubt it. Colin, I don't know if you want to play that audio from what Ryan Clark said on First Take today, but I think that was a really good kind of summation of what was happening here. So, I could paraphrase it, but if you got the audio, go ahead and play it.
And I want to preface this by saying I've often not agreed with a lot of the things that Ryan Clark has said, just because I feel like he's leaning into that Stephen A. Smith kind of heel role where he's just saying things to get a rise out of people, but I think he's actually right. So let's see if we can get this going here.
You're supposed to judge coaches on.
Hold on a second.
That's a team. Now, let's point to all the other stuff that Joe Judge was talking about. This team doesn't quit, and you got to make sure this team is bought in, and we don't have golf clubs in front of our locker. What he's saying is to the Mara family, to the New York Giants fans, and to the players is, I don't want you to judge me off of the stuff that you're supposed to judge coaches on. And that's a team progressing. That's a team winning football games. That's a team getting better. Because I've done none of those things. The things I want you to judge me on are things that you cannot measure. The fact that people believe in me, you can't know if they believe in me because you can't measure it. The fact that people are bought in, you can't know that they've bought in because you can't measure it. The fact that I receive phone calls that I shouldn't be taking because I should be watching film, trying to get ready for the next week to win the 5th game that I thought I was going to win, but I'm probably still only going to win 4. Don't judge me on none of that stuff you can see. Judge me on the things that you cannot. I want you to judge me on faith and hope and wishes and dreams, because what you're seeing on film is not enough for me to keep my job.
Okay. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. He said everything that we've embodied up until this point.
To me, it reminds me of like a running theme and I think it was something that Jerry Reese might have did at on his way out when they drafted Jay Bromley, that like defensive tackle from Syracuse, because he was like a captain, like in the 3rd round. Like that seems like a play directly to John Mara. So maybe that's why, again, I think he's speaking directly to him, because no one cares about anything that he said. None of it has any sort of, it doesn't resonate with fans, at least.
Not anymore.
And the rest of the league already knows he's a joke, and the team's a joke. So the only audience he's pandering to is the one that owns the team.
Everybody had a freak out when he dove in the water to pick up the fumble at training camp, like he was the the blue collar culture guy. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys as a follow up, basically. So we talked ad nauseum last week at basically how Joe Judge was coming back next year and how it made us feel. Based on this press conference, is that not necessarily like a definite anymore, do you think, Colin? Or
well, and that's another thing that I saw across the board is it screams a man who knows it's a possibility that his job is not definite for next year, regardless of what's come out in the media. And you know what? Yes, please think that your job is not solid. Why can't John Mara tell him behind the behind closed doors, you're okay for next year, and then he has 3 games that are abysmal in comparison to what has come to this point? It has somehow gotten worse. You deserve to be fired if it gets worse than rock bottom, and that's where we are. So it almost gives me this little flicker of hope that he's scared and he's pleading his case, and he's thinking he's got to be packing his bags. But they'll sign him to a 10-year contract or something.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be the press conference. It should be the game. Like, to lose the way they lost to the Bears, who were 5-10 headed into that game, is insane. We got 3 points on that team, who's nothing great on defense. And they put up 28 points on us, and they're nothing great on offense. They have their second string quarterback. They have almost no skill position players of note. Their offensive line isn't anything good. They destroyed us from within the first 8 seconds of that game, or 18 seconds of that game. There's nothing in that should indicate that we're headed in the right direction. Like forget the press conferences and the weird comments and the philosophy of Joe Judge. If you're base it off of that game alone, let alone the previous 17, it's just.
You know what was interesting about this one in comparison to the past games? It was clear scheme was on display more than individual talent. So yeah, we've seen Solder make an absolute fool of himself. But this game, I saw him just do something that was like what was called for, that was absolutely wrong coaching-wise. Not that I know really what's going on, but like he wasn't even remotely like Robert Quinn. I'm not even a bother with him because that's what the play calls for.
Why? I'll bring up something too, and again, like what you just said, Colin. I'm not breaking down the film, but Jay Feely broke this play down during the game, and basically they were having the center pull out to block Robert Quinn when he's coming off the edge. Why are you putting these guys in those positions to try and make those plays? Who's the center? Billy Price. I don't even remember who it is. Anyway, he's not athletic enough to kick out there and block that guy. And if you're, trying to put your guys in the better position, don't make blocking schemes like that. I mean, I'm happy they ran the ball a lot because, Feely said it the best. He's like, every time the Giants drop back to pass, something bad happens. Yeah. And you saw it. I mean, Glennon had 4 fumbles, 2 picks.
Negative 10
yards for the whole game.
It wasn't
12
even
in the first half.
It was Matt Skura, who's a guard.
I mean, who cares? No. Well, it was the center. It was Billy Price in that play. But it was just so much head scratching, kind of pass protection. The pass protection is terrible. So they got away from it. They started running some wildcat and basically just workhorsing Saquon and Booker. And I think that was really all you could do. They weren't going to win the game regardless because they can't score. And running the ball like that isn't going to win you the game against a team when you're turning the ball over like that. Even though the Bears aren't particularly that good either. But if you're going to give them 14, they're going to give them 14 points off turnovers in the first three or four drives, whatever it was. Who cares what you're doing?
I'm not
just go home.
I'm not harping, but for the sake of accuracy, well, yeah, that's funny. Slip of the Freudian whatever. I don't even. Billy Price didn't play because he had a family emergency. So
okay, fine. I'm not paying attention to who's starting on the offensive line.
Fair.
The eighth string freaking guy out there can't do that play. Is my only point.
Mm-hmm.
Is not athletic enough to do that. Maybe Nick Gates wasn't even, the guy to do that.
Well, that's an insane kind of play it's like you're 7th-string center and you're asking him to basically pull to take a defensive end. What?
Robert Quinn has 18 sacks this year.
Yeah.
He's not just a defensive end, he's a premier edge rusher off with his hand on the ground.
It's crazy.
And you're asking guys to do this. Yeah. Just bizarre.
Yeah.
Should we just give the passing stats on this game or
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Mike Glennon was 4 for 11 for 24 yards and 2 interceptions, and a total of negative 10 yards passing. Is that good?
Yeah. Well, I know it was the worst performance by a Giant since 1949 or something. I think I saw that floating around.
Wasn't good. Colin, you're right. It was Matt Skura. I just looked it up. My apologies to all the Giants fans out there who are paying attention to what Skura picked off.
Well, I just didn't want to. I didn't
practice squad this week.
I didn't want to pile it on Billy Price because he had a really awful week. So just throwing him under the bus here,
totally fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure he played really well the rest of the season. So we don't want to discourage him.
All right. Okay.
I know we moved on a little fast, but I want to know, guys, who called Joe Judge to ask for his spot back in the team? What player could it be?
I mean, did you hear the interview where they asked him? I think it was like Paul Dottino.
Which can we talk about Paul Dottino and how that guy needs to be blasted into the sun?
Yeah, we can, but he asked him point blank, like who's calling him, and Judge obviously was like, metaphorically or not really, like, there are players, everyone talks, coaches talk, and like maybe a player didn't say it, but like I know they were feeling it, like then he basically realized he was talking about tampering, so he's like, but there's nothing you need to investigate, there's nothing going on. It was just the worst response ever. I think he just made it up. Yeah,
he made it up. Nobody wanted back. Everybody wanted out.
Who? First off, no one really left the team from this year to last year. And secondly, who would see what's happening here and say, yeah, get me involved with that?
I mean, I guess my question was just like, it could only really be Dalvin Tomlinson, right? Because who else left that's making more money? Or like I think like there's 4 guys.
Wayne Gallman?
That left the team that weren't making the vet minimum.
I think... I don't know.
Easy investigation there that Twitter identified almost immediately after that press conference was over.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you trying to fool, man? It's like, we all see it. And then you try to tell us that it's all this other stuff that we don't know about because the fans don't know. But we buy the tickets. We pay for everything in the NFL. That's where the revenue comes from. Don't try to belittle the fans. I think it's crazy.
This press conference was a way to not directly do it, but he's starting to try to lean into Gettleman as the scapegoat for everything that's awful with this team, because that's the only thing he has: injuries and Dave Gettleman. Which, by the way, speaking of Scott Simonson and that wonderful thread, Dan, that you shared, Dr. Rodeo, whatever this rodeo clown is. Sounds like the worst doctor of all time, faking or downplaying diagnosis for bad injuries that should not have you back on the field anytime soon. And Scott Simonson doesn't have, what has he got to lose by saying any of this? He's being truthful.
100%. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. He has no reason to go out there and just make this up. What is he going to try to get more Twitter followers by agreeing or sending this out?
A horrible ankle injury that's still bothering him 2 years past. That's bad. And he never got surgery. He never got necessary PT or whatever it was, because they said, "Oh, you don't need it. Just you'll heal up and you'll be ready to play again." And now he's not in the NFL anymore.
Well, he also was like a fringe guy anyway, but
yeah,
still,
but
the injuries don't help.
He could have stuck around if he had the right treatment. Who knows? So, which is funny because we go back to our favorite thing in training camp and during the season, and that's the lead pipe drill. And it's coming to fruition that there's actually a problem with the medical staff. Ronnie Barnes is, he's been there for 1,000 years, and he's revered, put on a pedestal like all these old treads or retreads or always treads that have been there forever. And it's all part of the same problem that comes from the top down. The loyalty to people that have been there for 50 years, you got to keep them, even though they're inept and incompetent. And but you can't fire them because then, loyalty.
Apparently they have loyalty to guys that have been there for 2 years too at this point. Even after basically just what is been an awful experience for everyone on this team and everyone who watches it. There's nothing positive. There's nothing good to say. I want to touch briefly on Saquon because I was seeing a lot of stuff about how the one positive from this game was Saquon Barkley had his first 100 yards rushing since, do you guys know when? Since they played Washington on December 21st, 2019. It's a decent amount of time away in a guy who's 4 years into the league. It's totally asinine to me to even bring this up as something positive. They scored 3 points. They have no touchdowns. They haven't scored a touchdown in 35 drives. Getting yards is super fun, but if you don't get in the end zone, who cares at all? And then you also have to look at basically, his yards are inflated because they were forcing the ball. They were forcing the run all game. They weren't
passing.
Threw the
ball like 5 times the whole day.
And and if you want to make an argument that he was seeing a lot of guys in the box and this and that and the other thing, the Bears have the most missed tackles in the NFL this year. So there's also that to add on to it.
And like 8 offensive linemen. It wasn't like they were running in normal sets or anything. Great. 21 carries for 102 yards, 10-yard long, and we lost by 26 points. So that's
good. Let's stare the truth horse in the face. He's going to be here next year, so that's a fact there. So I figure if we manage to draft 9 offensive linemen as our only picks in the draft this year, there's bound to be someone good out of that, and then run that guy into the ground and then not re-sign him. I think that's kind of where we're going.
Is Booker back next year? He's on a 2-year deal, right?
I think
just
so.
The one. Either way, I'm sure those 9 offensive linemen will block for him just as well. I don't see, again, I know we've harped on this before, but I just don't see a difference between these two guys. Coming into this game, Booker had less carries and more yards than Saquon did. Yeah. They're not using Saquon in the passing game. So, I know he probably has a better skill set than Booker there. But if you're not going to utilize it, then what does it even matter?
Why is that? You can throw quick, short passes to your running back and not worry about getting sacked instantly. Why don't they do that?
Because no one's blocking. And they can't do a successful screen because, as we said before, the offensive linemen, Sands and Thomas, are not athletic enough to get out there and make blocks against defenders in space. Yeah. It's this offense is just the biggest joke I've ever seen, and it's so funny. Every week, you don't even have to think about what the game's going to look like because it looks exactly the same. And then we're going to go to next week, and we'll touch more on it later. But now you have Fromm coming back, who had the same game that Glennon had. He actually had a little bit of a better game, I guess you could say, than Glennon had this week. But they still, Fromm had 25 passing yards last week. It's better than -10. I don't know, man. It's just like brutal.
How is it? I know injuries are a big deal, but I did actually see something that it is a fact that we are the most affected by injuries team in the entire league. Meaning, there are other teams that have massive amounts of injuries that are able to cope, and we are the worst at that. That's a known statistic.
Horrendous roster.
I'd be curious to see what the Jets' injuries are like because I know MetLife is not necessarily known for being a forgiving field. for
Dude,
people.
well, what did AJ say yesterday about the 49ers? They played the Jets and the Giants in 2 weeks, and they got like 7 guys on ACL injuries.
He was exaggerating a little bit, but he's definitely close to right. It was a lot of guys went down in those 2 games. I mean,
they cheaped
medical
out on the
staff,
field.
the turf management, the medical staff, these are all professionals, people who studied this stuff, and they're not getting the job done just like everybody else is. I mean, maybe the turf manager has been there for 50, 60 years. You never know. It's a total possibility. Why do we not have this information
anymore? He's just he's like treating it like he's putting lime out there on that artificial turf.
Yeah, he's trying to grow the plastic.
He didn't put the lime out. That was the problem.
He didn't squeeze it hard enough.
He's out there just squeezing limes on the artificial turf. Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I'm doing my part.
Big up to El Jefe throwing the "Is That Good" out there this week. That was nice.
It's nice to see like at least one thing we've said get a little bit of traction.
The brand is strong,
I appreciate
man.
that. Yeah.
Love the guy. Can't wait. Hey, he's putting out a video tomorrow. He's early this week.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he is continuing to figure out the content because I think it's been getting a lot more difficult for everybody, not just us.
He's been doing a fine job of it, though.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, also, if you're a big hater and you're also making fun of them, I guess it makes it a little bit easier. You can say that about Will too. Always putting out content because he just,
dude,
brutal.
He's relentless. Sometimes I'm just like, oh man, do you
I think this is his happy place. I think he just eats this up, and this just fuels him.
I know.
And his memory for tweets of past, just to be able to recall them immediately and call people out.
That's the wild part.
He's fighting the good fight.
Yeah, he is. Allied.
I mean, what's going to happen? If in the event, I mean, I know this is a pipe dream, but what if the Giants get good again? Everyone's going to have to really, redo their mindset and their content in the future.
No,
maybe not everybody, but some people.
No, you could actually talk about football. You could actually talk about matchups and what cool stuff is going to happen. Or
it's going to be great.
Players developing and
You mean like wide receivers having more than 1 catch for 12 yards in the game, and your $17 million guy not having 0 catches in the game?
You see the Odell Beckham stat?
Yeah.
He has more touchdowns since he joined the Rams than the entire Giants wide receiver core this entire season.
And I think he has pretty close to the amount he had when he played for the Browns the entire time. I don't know that for sure, but they did not use him there. I'm happy to see Odell. He's back with his antics and whatnot, and it's fun to watch. The Rams are usually a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
they like to have fun. They have a good offense. They have a good coordinator. They have a young coordinator who has good ideas.
And a quick thing about the Odell antics, sure, he's a personality and does outspoken, flashy things, but also compare that to other players' antics. We saw Antonio Brown this week. That guy is liable to hurt someone or himself. Odell Beckham is hard on himself and has a true passion for playing football. He never did anything that scared anyone or could have hurt someone other than the kicking net.
Well, I mean, the most offensive thing. I mean, dog piss. Come on, guy. I was really offended by that.
Yeah. The boomers are all up in arms on that.
Yeah,
one.
God. I actually wanted to ask you guys. So, do you think the entire Giants offense should just do what Antonio Brown did next week?
Yeah, take off their pads, leave.
Just leave in the third quarter. Never look back.
Yeah,
I think John Mara should do the draft this year, and just get guys from that play at Army and Navy and play both sides of the ball and just bring it back to what football's supposed to be.
Bad.
just
a wing tee.
Just wing tee it.
Yeah. Well, no. I think I think someone should hire a DiMatteo as a coach.
High school football.
Yeah, just act. Somers wing tee. Let's go.
I mean, Tony's available. The team won't quit on him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know that. They're gonna run through a wall for that guy.
He does have a good jib.
Oh yeah,
his jib is caught very well.
There's a good cut to it.
Yeah, golden jib.
Great jib. What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't like that.
It's a nautical thing, dude. Like sailors and stuff.
Like Master and Commander?
Yeah. Did you ever see the rest of it?
No. I think I have to watch the rest of it with you.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Too bad.
On movie.
Too bad we had our fantasy draft earlier in the day, and we just drank a lot of wobbly pops, and then we fell asleep in the
And
middle
started a 3-hour movie at 11:30 at night. Yeah.
Sounds great. Sorry I missed it.
I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm sorry I missed all the beers beforehand.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I love the house, Dan. I can't wait to come back. It's wonderful little spot you got there.
Anytime.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll make it out there. I don't know. Colin will probably have to come pick me up on the way, though, which is heavily out of the way. But
yes, it certainly is. We'll figure something out. Hey, you know what? One of these days, we're gonna do one of these live. We're gonna say F it. We're doing it live, and that's it.
Well, when we do the Potapalooza in the off season,
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
do it here.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Should we do it at your house, Dan?
I would say that's a good spot to be.
Yeah, do it in the garage.
No, do it in my office, man. The De La Casa studio.
Okay, maybe we'll play some guitar.
Play some guitar. Play some Dark Souls. Start the band up again.
Yeah, maybe Eric will come.
Yeah, I can have you guys do some manual labor around the yard and stuff.
I'll watch your kids. I don't want to do manual labor.
Yeah, you can drink all the heady IPAs I have sitting around my house because they give me instant headaches now, and I'm a big baby.
Oh no,
bummer. Yeah, actually, I realized that I kind of got back into partying a little too quickly after COVID. Because Saturday night, man, I was supposed to do a double, and I just went upstairs to the office and fell asleep.
Nice.
they were calling me to come help them. I'm just like, nah.
Nice.
You guys got it. You
Nice.
guys got it. Big deal.
Hey,
That's actually what Antonio Brown did after he left the field in the Jets game. He just went into the locker room and went to sleep.
I'm sweating.
It is nice sometimes. Any is this goods? I have one I want to share.
Infinite.
Yeah, I
Infinite
got a couple.
is goods. So the average ticket price, the most affordable ticket price next week against the Washington football team is as low as $28. The average ticket price for Giants game from 2018 to 2021 was $115. Is this good?
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Ready?
I got one.
Go.
Since Dave Gettleman, this is from football perspective. Since Dave Gettleman drafted Saquon Barkley with the second pick, the Giants have gone 10 out of 33 in games Barkley has played. Is this good?
Ooh.
Is that generational talent? Is that making everyone on the team better?
Talk about generational talent. Mike Glennon, 6-25 as a starter, worst winning percentage in NFL history. Minimum 25 starts. Is that good?
That's the kind of guy you got to jump out early in free agency and nab for a big contract for a backup quarterback.
He's also made $31.2 million in 8 years.
I forgot that the Bears paid him at some point when he was
yeah, dude.
He got beat out by Josh Freeman on the Buccaneers, and then the Bears decided to give him $35 million. That franchise is also not a great franchise, which is unfortunate. You have two very historic franchises playing each other last week, and they both just
When the Bears signed him, did you guys know if he was if it was neck and neck with anybody else, or was he just the front runner on that?
I think they just really liked the cut of his jib.
Yeah, he's a great
Really
jib.
nice jib.
Super good jib.
Yeah.
In the 2 years that Joe Judge has been coached, the Giants have won 2 games by double digits, lost 14 games by double digits. Is this good?
Is there any way to describe that graph that I sent you guys before about the passing and rushing efficiency? I don't this is such a quality. Is this good? But I don't even know how to describe it.
This is the best you can do. Oh man, I'm working on it. Hang on.
You're just gonna pull it up.
Oh wait, here. This is. I want to show this one too because I know you guys like this one.
Oh,
Net
yeah.
10 passing yards.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not going to work because I just realized that that light I have shining in my face is not good for show my iPad. But yes, Colin. Yes, because I'm influencing a lot of people now. I don't know how to explain that graph either, but all I know is that every team in the NFL is here, and then they have to extend the graph 5 times longer to have the Giants on the end.
They're beyond like a bell curve. They're like beyond the outliers down in like the 2% range. They decided to do an extension to like the left-hand side of that axis.
So you're saying if the Giants and everybody else in the league were all in a class together, they'd bring the curve down so low that there's no way anybody would pass the test.
No, that everyone would pass except
Everyone would pass except for
See, so that just goes to show my mathematics is not very good, as everybody knows.
You don't have to do it anymore. Do you guys remember when Jason Garrett was offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I miss him.
Yeah, do you remember? Okay,
Yeah.
so here's some good stats for you. Points per game. Okay, this is when he was offensive coordinator. Points per game, 18.9. Total yards per game, 322. First downs per game, 19.3. Red zone trips per game, 2.7. Since he's been fired.
Wait, first before you get it,
Yeah.
is that good?
No.
It's not.
No, it's terrible.
That's really bad.
Points per game after 10.3, yards per game 245, first downs per game 16.3, red zone trips per game 1.7. Losing an entire Red Jones, I can't talk. Losing an entire trip to the red zone is a really good one for me. Not that they could ever punch it in because they literally, that's actually is a positive is that we don't have to see how bad the Giants' red zone offense is because they can never get to the red zone. Also, I forgot to say that the other positive from this game was that because they ran the ball so much, it was a pretty quick game, and I didn't have to watch it for that long. That was cool. I like that.
This was the first game in a couple of weeks where I didn't have to DVR it, so I sat through the whole thing. And it even though it was shorter, like you said, it felt like it was 10 times longer.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching the first half, and then I had to go get my son up from his nap. And I was planning to go back down and watch more, and then I just didn't. I just left for 45 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out, and nothing has changed. So that's.
I watched the first half, and then we went out for a walk, and I had a DVR, so I ended up watching it today, and I realized that the game was over, and I looked up, and I was just like, wow, I was just on my phone for an hour, and I didn't watch any of this.
That's exactly what I did.
So it's so boring. It's the most boring game ever. Oh my god, that was it. My notes for the second half were, this is the most boring you've ever seen, and that Andy Dalton's beard makes him look less like a white supremacist than he used to.
Nice.
He's got that haircut, that Pride Boy haircut.
You're gonna laugh at this a little bit. So
I'm sorry, Colin. Go ahead.
It's okay. The TV that we have in the living room is not. We're going to eventually put it up and have it actually, the word I'm not is fleeting right now.
Mounted.
That's it. It's on the ground now, but it's a 65-inch TV. So it doesn't matter that it's on the ground. We can still watch it because it's huge. And the way that the couch is, if you recline completely, you can't see half the TV. And I decided that I didn't care that I couldn't see half the TV, and I watched a majority of the game not actually seeing everything that was going on.
You got your TV on the floor. Is your table? Now I'm blanking out.
No, there's not another TV underneath the TV. Sorry.
No, is your coffee table a cardboard box, and do you have an empty Corona bucket to throw your cigarette butts in?
No, we're not Nonianta here, thankfully.
That was real life when we were in college. There was just a box with a bucket that was full of cigarette butts that got emptied never.
And an industrial-sized garbage can with unthinkable things that happened with it.
And I couldn't think about the amount of times that I had drank the end of a beer with a cigarette butt in it, 100 times.
Yep, definitely.
Disgusting. Oh my god.
Yeah, good days.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was like that. I was on my phone. I could barely see it. I was a bit hungover from New Year's Eve, and I just you know what? I could hear what's going on. I don't need to see everything, so I'm just gonna relax and scroll the internet.
It's good. It's good. You know what? I do want to say Lorenzo Carter again had a great game. All of a sudden, he's like a good player.
Well, what happened, you think? Because was there nagging injuries for a while? Because he just got shot out of a cannon out of nowhere.
He's a free agent.
At the end of the game, he was going like this after he made a play. So I think it might be. I think he might have realized that he was probably going to maybe not be re-signed at all by anybody, or if he was for a veteran minimum. Now I think he's at least getting the Devontae Booker deal.
Yeah, Bobby Skinner is all about give that man $1 million, $1 million contract 1 year. Oh, well, you know what? I feel that. That's fine. I mean, we don't have any money, but
that's easy. I mean, who else? You'd have to consider that they're probably not going to get a premier edge rusher again this offseason.
No.
Could be wrong, but there's no cap space, and it'd have to be one of those first 2 picks in the draft, which I hope they do go offensive line on, as I think most people do. But yeah, I think bringing him back is on a good deal is a no-brainer at this point.
That's actually an interesting thought. If it's possible that we get rid of this entire regime, because we're in cap hell to a point beyond any sort of recognition that's ever been seen in this league before, does the GM that needs to be hired, is he a cap guy or does he bring a cap guy?
You got Abrams, man. You don't need a cap guy.
No. He's not a cap guy. He's a crap guy. And I don't want that. He's not.
I think all good GMs are. Yeah. All good GMs
that's
are
the
cap
thing.
guys
I
to
wish
a certain extent. You really can't not be. I think the Giants are just like 5 years ago, be like, oh, we should pay attention to the cap. Abrams has got it. He's a cap guy. And that was it. That's his legend.
Nice. That was a good ticker.
Doing a lot of tickers today. I'm trying to get my ticker game up. For those of you watching on our second amazing YouTube broadcast tonight, I just want to throw that out there.
We look great. Look at us. Who'd have thought?
You remember that Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they're trying to say something nice about Mac's mom, and she's just like, I look like shit. That's how I feel right now. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to curse. I know you guys are getting mad at me about that. I'm doing my best. I just can't be. Can't be contained. Looks like we lost Dan for a second. I mean, should we talk about this Washington game while he comes back, or
you could always do the read?
Let's talk about DraftKings for sure. Wow, they just deleted it. Anyway, no, seriously. Yeah, all right. Okay. Hey, guys, the NFL playoffs are almost here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any wildcard team to win their game. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team is victorious. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you still have something to play for this wildcard weekend. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy sportsbook contests. DraftKings is also giving new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code TPPN during Wildcard Weekend at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Booyah. Great read.
That was a pretty good one. Like, I usually when I do it, like, afterwards, I have to do it at least 2 or 3 times because I always say to PPN.
See, that's when I do it, I always enunciate like overboard, and I never miss it up, and I slow it down like crazy.
Yeah, you always sound like real sultry when you do yours, Well, hey, guys.
Okay.
Do you like the DraftKings?
Do you know why that is? Because at a certain time of the night, Steph ends up coming upstairs, and she watches TV in the bedroom, which is right there. And I don't want to – I hate picturing her hearing me do the read because she's going to make fun of me after I'm done doing it. And so I try to keep it low so she wouldn't possibly hear me try to do it. It's like this weird thing. I don't know.
That seems dumb because DraftKings Sportsbook is amazing, and it is also official sportsman part of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app right now.
Oh,
tell your wife that. No, tell your wife that when you see her later. After this is over, I want you to tell it to her.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Should I record it and then I'll use it on the read next week or something like that?
Yeah, all right. I guess Dan's gone, but that's okay. Let's just jump in and briefly talk about this Washington game before we end.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on this are I don't care. I can't wait for the season to be over. They also suck. This game has no meaning. No one's trying to spoil anybody's anything. I hope the Giants lose and they get a better draft pick.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about this.
Speaking of
From
draft
starting.
picks, why can't the Jets just pull through for us when we need them to the most? And they don't. They don't. Tom and the Bucks come back and ruin
Tommy
that.
B, man.
Oh, it killed me. I wasn't even watching it because I was watching through Roku, so I wasn't switching channels. And I was just like, I saw they were winning. I'm like, oh, okay, Jets, let me be a big fan of you right now. Come on, pull through and beat the Bucks because they stink right now. And of course, Tom has to come through and win. He has to win again and ruin it. Hi, Dan, you're back. Cell phone, Dan.
Yeah, just no internet all of a sudden. So
It's like living out in rural New Jersey, huh?
I guess.
Well, where's the modem in the basement?
At least you can down.
No, I have full connectivity. It just says computer connected to the internet, but connected to the network, but no internet for you.
Well, we were just discussing how in New Jersey you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code TPPN. So there is a positive of living in New Jersey.
That's true. I think what it was is I was getting to some real truth there, and the powers that be smited me since I'm in the near the Meadowlands, and they shocked my internet.
Gettleman's listening. He's infiltrated your home.
Yeah, he's weaponized his computer guys to hunt me down.
He's removing all the food that isn't white.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up because I think shortly after the end of this season and when hopefully actually Dave is let go, I think we're due to bring your boy Torm back into the mix. I think
Has anyone been staying in touch with Torm? Do we have a line?
I think we.
All I know is
have
that
an easy line.
Now that we do video, it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Oh boy, I can't wait for Torm.
Yeah. Anyway, Dan, we were while you were gone, we were just touching briefly on the Washington game. I said I didn't care, and I hope the Giants lose. For draft picks? What's your feeling?
Hope they lose in new and historic ways, and I just want it to be over, end it. I just wanted to mention something. I made a spreadsheet last week, and I updated it today. I got all sorts of interesting facts about how bad we are. One of which is that we scored 22 touchdowns this season in total. The other is I broke.
Joe Burrow has 8 in the last 2 games, and we've scored 22 all season.
Yeah.
Great. Yep.
Yeah. The other, I broke down how many points we scored per quarter, and our highest scoring quarter is the fourth quarter because it's garbage time, and we scored 102 points in the fourth quarter, and the next highest is the second quarter where we scored 64, so almost half the amount of points that we've scored in the second quarter. Our scoring takes place 40% of the time in the fourth quarter. So this team is real trash.
Historically bad.
Yeah, I just wanted to make something come of the spreadsheet I put together when I probably should have been doing work.
Yeah,
it's better. You're doing God's work.
Yeah,
averaging 16 points per game. So
sick.
I'm actually surprised it's over double digits. I guess you got to factor in like I wonder if you take out like the fourth quarter points, what it would actually be.
Yeah. Well, our high scoring game we had 27 points, and that was because there was an overtime where we scored a touchdown.
And won.
Which game was that?
Saints.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Wow, that was an interesting game. Like you almost like I remember like in the middle of the season they won that game and everyone was kind of like,
Well,
maybe
that brings up a good point. Everybody today, well, not everybody, a lot of people were just like, "Oh man, I really miss Daniel Jones." Which no, but it is amazing what he was able to do with this offense. I can give him that because I don't know. Maybe it's a detriment on the backup quarterback situation more than anything else. Probably.
I mean, I don't know with him. I just like if he comes back, great. But yeah, there needs to be competition. He needs to be pushed. If he doesn't come back, it is what it is for me. Like, I mean, I don't think he was ever given an opportunity to be good on this team. I mean, they gave him weapons, but I don't know if those guys are getting schemed in. And obviously, the offensive line is terrible. The injuries have been bad. I mean, you can just harp on this stuff forever. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's coming back. So
his option
let's see
might
what
not
happens.
be picked up right away, but I saw somebody say some sort of a situation where, what if we traded him to the Broncos so he can be back with Shermer, and then traded away Saquon, and then drafted 4 offensive linemen in the first 4 rounds, and then punted on next year and waited for the QBs in the year after that. And it actually sounded like a pretty good plan. I liked it, but it won't happen. So
I mean, I hate to sit here and we said it last week, a week before, and Steve was the first one to say when we had him as a guest in the podcast, just like next year's a wash. Let's just forget next year at all. It's like, I know we've been doing this a long time and we're desensitized to it, but like, how could you really going to sit here and see this team, not win 5 games, not win 4 games? I mean, whatever it is, it's just, at what point do you just, what point do you turn it off? Like if you weren't doing this podcast, I'm sure you'd turn it off. But what does everybody else turn it off? That, is another year gonna help you? I don't know. It's just tough. And I know it's probably the better thing to do in the future is not expect to, be competitive next year because it's still a massive rebuild. Whatever rebuild they were trying to do, what didn't work, you're going to have to start over. I understand. It just sucks to think about is basically my point. It just sucks to think about.
I had a moment earlier today, and this is the most bizarre thing. I had a glimmer of excitement, and it's bizarre why it was excitement. But it was the idea of signing a mid-level veteran quarterback like the Andy Daltons of the world or Marcus Mariota and being excited by them being the starting quarterback or having the opportunity to compete for it. And that's where we're at now, just because it's different players. Like I'll bring somebody in like that who Mariota is like the guy. I feel like that. You like Andy Dalton, but I feel like Mariota would be a real fun,
real sad state of affairs.
Well,
I heard that was Daniel Jones's comp. Essentially, is he's never going to be higher than a top, break the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. He's probably going to be like in high demand as like a real luxury backup quarterback, like a Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
So like getting one of those guys doesn't excite me at all. But
no, you know what I mean.
It tells you. No, I mean, yeah. If we can trade Daniel Jones, and get something back, and
not just yet, Dan, but close.
Yeah, and get Andy Dalton back, and then basically have him as a placeholder until we get a real quarterback.
Yes.
That's cool, but I need to, I don't want Kevin Abrams doing it.
No.
And that's the whole thing. And you know what is cool? At least after this weekend's over, the picture might become a little more clear to us what is going to happen. At least there's that.
Well, I can't believe they didn't fire everyone yet. It's insane.
Giants
it's absolutely crazy, man.
It's
Giants
insane.
way, man. Loyalty.
They fired Reese and McAdoo in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can't do it again now. Your fan base is mad. Your fan base has never been this mad. I mean,
the country club probably told John Mara that's uncouth of you to do to those poor people that are working for you.
Yeah.
Well, right around the
Mara
holidays.
He's certain that it doesn't matter. People are still going to pay for their season tickets.
Dude, it is going to be a bloodbath at this game. Whoever shows up, it's going to be, oh my God,
awful.
Oh my God.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. You guys are going to laugh at this. I can't believe I didn't say it last week. This is how bad things are right now. My dad and I had the tickets to the Cowboy game, and he was convinced we didn't. He just forgot that we had the tickets.
Didn't want to go.
We just didn't go.
Nice.
And I was just like, Dad,
I mean, I saw people were trying to sell their PSLs for half of what they bought them.
You know what? I was like, Dad,
It's brutal.
What if we really wanted to go?
Anything
anyway?
else tonight, guys, to add?
No.
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 That's
No.
it.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you there, Colin. I think we had a little bit of a lag there for a second.
That's all right. We got a lot of lag in the
all right.
organization.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening tonight. Again, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Big Blue United. Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Pod Net on Twitter. Download that DraftKings app, and we will see you next week. Oh, of course. Can't forget. Email Dan at bigblueunitedpodcast@gmail.com. Every time I say he's waiting for you, I think about when you were younger, did you ever stay up late and watch Comedy Central? And there's we are 18. They're waiting for you.
Phone lines are open. Yeah.
or
Dan,
when you're
Dan's where
or the E channel. That was all about that. Wild on E.
Yeah.
Dan's wearing a bikini. He's waiting for your Giants related email.
That's how I do all my emails.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.